Okay, we're not gonna let this thing run for forever this time. How's it going, everybody? Howdy. Welcome back to another stream. Hi, yay. So I finished a couple days of work, and sure enough, I wasn't sure if we were gonna stream tonight, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and honestly, it's been a couple of days since I streamed, so I wanted to hop in here. Hi, what's up, everybody? How's everyone's Wednesday going? You know, it was tomorrow and the next couple of days we'll be back onto normal schedules. Tonight I didn't, between work and I've got some other stuff I got to do this evening, I didn't really have enough time to hop into like FF8 or one of our other standards for tonight. So this will be a little bit of a short stream, maybe an hour and a half. Maybe we'll see, but I wanted to stream something. It was either this or sitting looking at anime feed for the rest of the night until I pass out at the desk, which, to be completely fair, there's still time. That is still very much in the realm of possibility. But I wanted to hop in here and do a little bit of this first. It's just going to be, a couple mission runs and some other really kind of basic stuff. I'm currently trying to unlock a couple of permit lock systems, so nothing super fancy or exciting. Oya's down. We don't really have a whole lot going on in the Titan front right now. I was looking at some of the invasion systems the other night, and not really a whole lot of options at the moment for me. I did actually end up buying a second Python and got that one kitted out for passenger missions. I tried to do the Robigo runs. It didn't go so well. I guess they've nerfed it over the past couple of years so that the missions don't spawn all that much. You got a decent payout. It was okay, but compared to trading or anything else like that, I mean, it was about the same amount that I was making from a decent trade run, except I don't have to travel 500 light years out for a trade run, right? So yeah, so we're back in the bubble. I'm just trying to get a few things done. We've got some BGS stuff going on and a couple of other systems that, as you guys know, I can't stream or anything like that. So I figured it was time to unlock some permit runs. There was a system that popped up earlier this morning / like late last night that had a really good trade route running, and then I found out that you have to have a permit to get in. So I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead and get this done. Let's unlock a couple of these systems and see how it's going. So we're almost done. I'm doing the Torval Mining Guild. They've got a permit system locked, or a couple. I don't know how many they've got, but yeah, they've got a few, and there were a couple of good trade routes running through their system. So I figured, yeah, we'll just go ahead and get this done, and it gives me something that I can kind of aimlessly do while we talk. Get some stuff done. A couple big updates. I did buy a fleet carrier, so yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to 5 billion credits. Basically 1 month of playtime on the dot. I don't know if there is a speedrun record or anything like that. I imagine that there's other people that have gotten it as fast, if not faster, but I feel like 1 month of playtime to get my fleet carrier is pretty good. I got the 5 billion, and then one of my squad mates was like, hey, congratulations, you did that on your own. Here's a bunch of tritium runs that you can do for a couple other billion to kind of get you buffed up, right? So it's stocked, it's ready to go. It is not open to the public yet. Once we actually yeet ourselves out into the black and start doing some exploration again, it'll be open to the public. Right now, it's same as everything else, doing some BGS things that we can't discuss, right? Honestly, I don't think anyone really cares, but it makes this sound cooler, right? But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. It's nice having a fleet carrier, the Yosemite, the CGFC Yosemite out there. And yeah, it's was really the last big hurdle at this point. It's just seeing what ships I want to get and finish up some engineering and that kind of thing before we head on out, right? I've loaded most of the ships that I've wanted. There's a couple ships that I still don't really know what I want to do with. Like I've got a Fertilance that I don't really do anything with. Now that I've got a Corvette, the Fertilance is just kind of like whatever. It's not like a PvP, right? I'm mostly in solo anyways. So yeah, I mean, it's an option, but you know, obviously I want to bring my mining Python. I might bring my passenger Python too, in case I want to make some stops in Colonia or something like that at some point. Obviously the exploration ships are going to be a big one. But yeah, aside from that, it's just kind of nice to have. I haven't really done anything too big with it in terms of like large scale trading or anything like that to really bring in that income. Right now, I'm just trying to get enough money so I can stock the thing up with Tritium, and you know, make sure that we're ready to go. You know me, if you've watched some of my past streams, then you know that when I go out in the black, I like go out in the black, right? That's one of the big reasons I was able to afford a fleet carrier so quick. And I don't even have Odyssey, so this is without exobiology. This is just planet scanning, right? So I'm going to be making my way up north. I might hit up Beagle Point. The problem is if I go to Beagle Point, even with a full carrier of Tritium, I don't know if I can get there and back with enough of a loadout to do it. Like I was using the whole Spanch thing to try and plot a route up there, and it seemed like it would take a fair amount, like 10,000 or so. So I'd be able to get up there, but I don't know about getting back. It'd be cutting it pretty close. Right now, about 6,000 of my hold is set up with just for services, that kind of thing. Now, some of those services I'll be able to get rid of once it's time to get out. But for right now, yeah, I need about 6,000 tons reserved just for certain services on the carrier, and then from there we'll just kind of play around. But yeah, it's fun. I just need to get some arcs to actually trick the thing out and make it look kind of cool. Kind of boring right now. It's just the base carrier, right? But yeah, so aside from that, you know, it's just been a lot of trading, a lot of combat, a lot of CZs, that kind of thing. Not a whole lot else going on in Elite for me right now that Oya is done. You know, the tricky part is like I want to head out, and this kind of leads into the news that the game's had lately. But yeah, you know, I want to head out, but I also want to stay around for the other Titans because I want the bonus skins. I don't know what's going to come up next. I just don't want to miss the Anaconda. Like, that's the tricky part. And I have a feeling if they do make an Anaconda ship skin, and it's going to be one of the last ones, I just know it. So it's kind of tough. But yeah, you know, leading into that, they have officially released the date for the Python Mark II, as well as gave us a new update with the Power Play 2.0 stuff, which actually looks really cool, and it seems like it fixes a lot of problems. But yeah, the other update stuff that they have announced has caused a ruckus. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Hi. Y'all ready for some hot takes? Oh, buddy, we're gonna have some hot takes. I try not to get controversial on the stream, but oh boy. So the hot takes are, none of the update stuff really sounded all that bad. There you go. There's your hot take of the day. We're gonna get into some of this stuff a little bit. You know, there was one thing that I do feel is very odd, and I don't feel all that great about, and that is the Python Mark II early access stuff. We'll lead into that in a little bit. But yeah, the big thing is that they released the date of the Python Mark II. For everyone with Odyssey, it will be available on August 7th. But here's the weird part. But they also have an early access that will begin here in a couple of weeks, May 7th, I believe. And you can pay real life dollars to get early access to this thing. Now, 3-month early access. I don't know, man. I really don't know. But before we get into my thoughts on that, they have also said that they are going to be working on some engineering upgrades to make it a little bit easier to kind of focus on certain types of engineering, right? Make that a little bit easier. They have also, man, someone on Inara, this had like 46,000 reactive armor, so I guess I might be going to a couple different systems for this. They have also, yeah, they announced that they're going to be doing an engineering rework to hopefully make it a little bit easier to get into engineering, as well as allow you to kind of focus things a little bit more, which I'm super excited about. I just did my first ever raw engineering, raw material farm out at the Braintrees in Crystalline Canyons, whatever you want to call them, Crystalline Spire sites. And I'll be honest, I have no desire to do that again anytime soon. It sucked. It was just not fun. Just out of the way. I hate trying to find coordinates. It was just awful. I just really don't like it. It keeps me from doing the things that I want to do, right? So I'm super excited about it. But the big one, the big thing that seems to have a lot of people upset, more than the early access, which is really kind of surprising to me. This has like a ton of people mad about it. They are adding the ability for real life dollars for arcs, right? To buy pre-engineered and pre-built ships, right? So you can go in, and they released a couple of examples. So like if you want to do mining and you don't know anything about mining, or you're new to the game, or you know, you've just never given mining a shot, you can buy a ship. I think it was a Type 7. I can't remember. I'd have to look at it again. But yeah, it'll have a couple of pre-engineered thrusters, a couple of engineered mining tools, you know, some small things like that. It's not completely kitted out, but it does have a couple of pretty far engineered things, like the thrusters, I think, were grade 5 with dirty drag drives on them. And yeah, the ability to basically skip the grind to buy some ships that are already pre-kitted out. And oh buddy, people got so mad at this. They got so mad at it. And it just kind of reminded me why I like MMOs so much. Because they're kind of like small little societies that are contained in their own bubble. And many of the people in these bubbles have never lived in another bubble. It's just a wild space. And it's like this for every MMO. It's kind of, I don't know. As an outsider, it's just a lot of fun to get in here and see the molding happen in real time. But yeah, as expected, just Reddit was basically set on fire with people making claims about pay to win, and people getting really mad that people can skip all of the engineering that they did once 7 years ago. Right? Like, how dare they not have to suffer like I did, right? And it's just hilarious to see it. I don't know. I have no issues with it. Like, just to be completely clear, I have no issues whatsoever about being able to buy pre-engineered ships. It's pretty standard fare in almost every MMO. Oh, hello, Dale A.R. Thompson. By all means, welcome. Hi, how are you doing, friend? I have a feeling that if it's more than one ship, I might have to skip out. But I did get a little bit more engineering done on this thing. We'll continue this discussion here in a second. But yeah, I really have no issues with being able to buy pre-engineered ships. Like none at all. MMOs for a very, very long time have had level boosts. This is really nothing new. It's nothing that most of us haven't experienced before if you played literally any other game. But yeah, for whatever reason, it just it really upset a lot of people. And okay, get to this in a second. Now, whether or not they have okay, there's the federal response system. We'll be fine. I'm not too worried. Now that the feds are here. There you go. And it'll be burned down pretty fast. Actually, I'm gonna put more in my systems here. There you go. Use the shield tank like I should. Worst comes to worst, I just burn it out. It's not going to take me that long. It's an anaconda, so it's kind of annoying. Problem is, I don't want them to kill the other one before I get a hit on it. How am I doing on my hull anyways? I might need to burn it out, we'll see. Oh, 84, that's fine. It'll be okay. Now if it starts getting down to like 60, then I might need to burn out, you know, turn tail, get out of here. But this one's gonna be down soon, so. Oh, did they already take out the other one? Oh yeah, he went out. Cool. All right. That's fair. A little spicier than normal, but some of these have two guys attacking, right? And we'll keep that in shields for now. All right. But yeah, like it's really not a big deal. Like level boosts have been a thing in MMOs for a very, very long time, and it's never a situation. Well, I mean, some of it's a situation of they want money, but most of the time it's just the simple fact that a lot of these games are very old, right? Like Elite Dangerous is 10 years old. World of Warcraft is pushing 20 at this point. FF14's got its 10-year anniversary, right? And you know, when a game is that old, it's just after so many updates and systems upon systems added on top of other systems and new mechanics and all of this, it just gets to be too much, really. Especially for new players, it can be very dense, especially in a hardcore space sim like this one. But obviously in FF14, you know, they recently in the 14-hour live letter, right? And they mentioned the game has, that FF14 has 167 hours of cutscenes, right? Like you can go back and watch my watch along on that. Like that is dense, right? As so like the ability to skip levels is really not a big deal, and it's usually for a very practical purpose. This game's a little different because it doesn't have like traditional levels, really, but engineering, it kind of is your eye level, right? So being able to skip that is really not a big issue, but guys, like, I'll be honest, like, it's not pay to win. It isn't. Like, it never has been pay to win, and it never will be pay to win. And pay to win has always meant, and this is how it was originally in some of the early gacha games and weird stuff like that. Diablo Immortal, anyone? Pay to win is always about having items that are only available behind the paywall, and they're usually like super overpowered, right? Or in some cases, you know, an item that has such a rare drop rate that paying money and lots of money is really the only viable way to guarantee that you will get that item, right? Paying to skip content is not pay to win, and it never has been. The only people, and this is true for not just Elite, but really across the gaming industry in general, the only people that have ever pushed pay to win as any kind of skipping content are always people that want other players to suffer as much as they did. Like that is the only case, 100% of the time. That is where that mindset has come from. But that's not pay to win. That's just you being insufferable, really. That's pretty much what it comes down to, right? And it's almost always from gamers of, how should I put this, a certain generation. Probably have a lot of, you know, really shitty thoughts about things like student loan cancellation too, right? Yeah, they just don't like other players not having to suffer like they did, or not having the same experience they did. They think there's only one way to experience the game, and is to be as difficult as possible, right? But that doesn't make it pay to win. It's just a level skip, guys. That's really all it is. It'd be different if they were putting in like super overpowered engineering modules that are only available through that, through paying that money or something, or through buying the ship kits. You know, something along those lines. But no, it's really not that kind of situation, right? And yeah, you just see a lot of these arguments popping up about the pay to win stuff and how we went up here, right? Yeah. You know, about how by allowing people to skip the grind, then it de-incentivizes FDev from, you know, making the engineering easier or making the grind less boring. And that's an argument I've seen pop up in multiple games. But the thing is, like, that's never been the case. Like, they always add the addendum there, like, just like what happened in other games. But they can never actually say what game that happened to. Right? Like, it's always other games, quote unquote, but they never actually say a specific game where that was the case. You know, WoW has level boost. Final Fantasy 14 has level boost. Like, I dare anyone to tell me that Yoshi P thinks that actual game development takes second place compared to the cash shop. Right? Like, that's just a ridiculous assumption to literally anyone that has ever played another MMO. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't happen. I'm sure there's probably some weird Korean gacha out there where that's the case, right? But, you know, for the big names that have added these things over time, that's never really been the case. Like, WoW is still, the game is still the main focus. Like, they're still developing content for it. FF14 is still developing the content. I'm sure even like ESO and stuff. Now, I don't have as much experience with ESO. I hear their cash shop is a little more aggressive. Guild Wars 2 obviously is a thing. But I think it's kind of ridiculous to think that, oh, just because they're adding a cash shop, they're going to stop development on the game, or they're going to somehow like de-incentivize making the grind easier or something like that, right? Like, it's just ridiculous on its face. It really is. So I don't really have any issue with the engineering, pre-built ships or anything like that. Like, it's most of the people complaining it seems like something that I've said multiple times on the channel, which is, please, for the love of God, play other games, and not just Helldivers 2, because it seems like that is the only other game that a lot of elite players play is Helldivers 2. Like, no, like, go out and play some, you know, some other MMOs. Right? You want some aggressive monetization, go play some Black Desert Online, right? Or God, go play some first-person shooters, man. Battle passes have made the industry far worse than adding a level boost ever possibly could. So yeah, you know, FPSs, if you want some really aggressive monetization there, I mean, God, I'm still upset about Gundam Evolution, man. There's so much potential wasted because of that battle pass system and how they monetize the characters coming out, right? Apparently this monetization, like pre-engineered ships or the early access specifically, is pretty similar to Mech Warrior from what I was reading. I don't have any experience with Mech Warriors, so you guys would have to tell me how this kind of fits into that scope. But yeah, the early access Python to me feels a lot closer to a potential pay to win situation and really aggressive monetization than pre-engineered skips ever possibly could. Yeah. But yeah, it's just been a fire across the board of opinions when it comes to this stuff. And every time that I see someone complaining about pay to win, it's just, I genuinely have to wonder how many other games they played and if they have any experience with other MMOs or anything like that. Because yeah, it's just weird to me because, and I'm not saying that FDev is doing this well. To be clear, they are not. They are very bad at communication, right? it is kind of a weird model in the sense that it seems like they're trying to attract new players with this kind of thing, but it doesn't seem like FDev really does any kind of marketing at all that would go along with getting new players to play the game. Because the engineering module previews that they showed us, the pre-built ship models that they showed us, like, they're good enough for new players to jump into the game, but they're not really good enough for veteran players that maybe want to switch careers or try new aspects of the game. And that's where it's a little confusing to me. Because for those of you guys, and if you were on this channel, hi. If you're here just for elite content, you probably don't know me. I'm Wes. I play a lot of video games. My main game is FF14, where I play a red mage. Hi, I make guides. Please watch them. Please like and subscribe to help me get to 1,500 subs. Yay. But for you guys that have watched this channel before, like, you know me, right? You know I play a lot of different games. And in a lot of those other games, like level boosts, believe it or not, level boosts were kind of created as a way to get new players into the game, right? So they could catch up and play with their friends in these games that have, you know, hundreds of hours of backlogged content to go through, right? And even FF14's kind of grappling with that situation as they're entering, you know, a level 100 cap. You know, even Yoshi P said they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about possibly letting people skip to where the current storyline starts, right? They just don't know how they're going to do it because, I mean, let's be honest, 167 hours of cutscenes is a lot of time to go through, right? And that's kind of where level boost came from. But in actuality, the reality of level boosts, or in this case, pre-built ships, I guess, are actually not new players. Like, MMO's a pretty niche field nowadays, right? A lot of people buying level boosts are veteran players that are wanting to try new things. Either you don't want to level up a new job. How am I going through that right now? Or level up a new character or a new race or a new class in the case of WoW or something like that, right? So they buy the level boost. You know, they've already put in the time to do it on a main character, and now they're just skipping it for an alt, right? But the pre-built ships are not really good enough for veteran players to do it in this game. Like, the way this game does it, like I said, because there's not traditional levels or classes, it's a little bit different. It's not a one-to-one comparison, and I need to kind of make that clear, you know, just right off the bat. But it is still very much an MMO. In most of these systems, even though it's under a shiny space veneer, right, and under a fancy sci-fi UI, the systems themselves are the same as any other MMO, right? So yeah, I am curious, like, what exactly their target audience is for this, because if they do want to attract new players, then, like, they need to be doing a pretty big push on social media and advertising to attract those new players, which does not seem to be very much FDev's MO at all. So yeah, that it is a little confusing for that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. And, you know, for us veteran players that are doing those level boosts, you know, I see this argument again popping up a lot that, like, oh, they need to just make the old content better. Right? Like, they need to fix the content that's boring in the first place. But, like, guys, it's not always that the content is boring, right? Like, again, if you guys know, for you guys on the channel, you know this already. You've watched me do all of this stuff before. But for new people to the channel, like, I love FF14. I love running dungeons. I will sit there and do FF14 content all day if you guys want me to. But there's only so many times that you can see Stone Vigil and be like, oh yeah, this is great, right? And it's not that Stone Vigil or running dungeons is not fun. I have a ton of fun doing it. But, like, I don't want to eat the same meal every day. Like, that's what it comes down to, right? You know, when you've seen the same thing 500 times, at a certain point, it's like, okay, I'll just go ahead and pay to skip this time. Like, I don't need to do this on a warrior. I've got my main red mage. If people are saying that, you know, I need to put in the time, or I don't know how to play the game, or suffer as much as they did, then like, okay, sure. Then I'll just switch over to my red mage that has done all of that. Or I'll log into my WoW character that completed archaeology. And you can tell me that I didn't suffer as much as you did, right? I'm still gonna buy the level boost sometimes, because at a certain point it's just like I want to be lazy, right? Like that's what it comes down to. So yeah, it's a little curious about that, but more than anything, it's just it's just kind of fun to watch the forums being set on fire by people that I guess just don't play a lot of other games. But you know, one criticism that I think is very true is the early access stuff, and that, you know, it's really going to depend on what the Python plays like. If it is super overpowered, especially in PvP, which I guess is where their target is going to be, then yeah, a 3-month early access is definitely going to enter kind of like pay-to-win territory, because that is, again, a situation of something that is very overpowered, but is only available for cash, right? You know, the whole Odyssey thing, I was a little upset about the fact that it's Odyssey only, because obviously I don't have Odyssey. You can buy it if you have Horizons, but you have to pay real money for it. You cannot buy it with credits if you have Horizon on August 7th. You have to pay real money. So, you know, I'll probably end up getting Odyssey. In the end, it ends up being cheaper to buy Odyssey than it is to pay for the ship with credits. It's just, I really don't care about most of the other Odyssey stuff, right? But, you know, as I was thinking about it, it's like, you know, here I am getting real mad about this being locked behind Odyssey as I get ready to pre-order Dawn Trail, where I can play Pictomancer, right? So it's not exactly uncommon for games with expansions to have new classes and new races locked behind that expansion. That's pretty par for the course. You know, when we really sit down and think about it, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So I started getting a little less mad when I put it in that kind of context, right? But the early access thing is just, I don't know what they're thinking about it. Like, whenever I pre-order Dawn Trail, I get 3 days of early access for Pictomancer. Like, that's it. Three whole days. Woo, buddy. And that's pretty common. So yeah, I just really don't know what they were thinking about. And the fact that this is just the first ship, right? So yeah, the early access kind of stuff kind of upsets me a lot. It's basically saying, you know, the ship is done, but we just want you to pay real money for it. Like, that kind of monetization practice, that is very much danger zone kind of situation, right? You know, I think if they were going to go that route, what they really needed to do was just create a DLC pass or some kind of season pass that would get you access to all 4 of the new ships, right? And then you just get like a week of early access as those ships come out, but you paid for it and you get all 4 ships just right off the bat. I don't think people would have had an issue with that. I don't know why. It's just something about the season pass mindset in our consciousness or whatever. It just does not seem to have as much vitriol around it. And the fact that you would get all 4 ships as they come out already, right? So yeah, I really don't know why they went this whole individual ship route. It very much feels like, hey, we need to make sure we're hitting our quota for that quarter's investment call. That's genuinely what it feels like, right? I don't know if it's just because I'm close to the sun, but that Anaconda keeps looking like it has a gold ship kit, and that looks really cool. I kind of want that. So yeah, the early access thing is the only thing that I am personally upset about, really. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and some of it is the early access stuff. And some of it is the communication stuff. Like, I don't know what's up with FDev. I feel like a lot of these cases, a lot of these situations could have been solved if they just had one person on the marketing team spend like an afternoon like communicating some of this stuff. Like, I don't think people would have been nearly as upset about the Python if they had just announced that it was going to be Odyssey only and early access when they announced that the Python even existed. Right? Like every other case of a new job or a new race, like that's a big selling point for those expansions. And it is announced as part of that expansion, right? For every other MMO. So I really don't know why they just didn't announce that this was going to be like an early access kind of situation right off the bat. And it could be that they genuinely didn't even know until then, but like I feel like that kind of stuff, like they should have that figured out by the time they announce this stuff. You know, most of these other companies have their pay structures and that kind of stuff figured out at least a quarter or two before it's ever announced. Like that's all part of their game plan. So yeah, if they're really having that much trouble even figuring out how to market the thing, then they got bigger things to worry about. Really. I don't know what they're doing. But, oh, hey, was that all of them? Okay, so I still have one more guy that's after me. That's fine, that's cool. As you can see, my ship is doing quite well. I think I still need to engineer a little bit of its shield modules, but it shouldn't be that bad. I just need to make like one run to a nearby material trader and it'll probably be fine. Just I've been lazy with the material grinds. Now that I'm stocked up on selenium and palladium, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be lazy on all of the other stuff that I need to mine. Which the weird part is I don't really mind mining all that much. It's just kind of chill and relaxing to me, just to hang out in my Python and listen to some music or whatever for a couple of hours. But yeah, all of the other stuff, it really doesn't seem all that bad. Most of the fur around it, most of the fuming. It just sounds like Gen X being Gen X to me. And where these people are getting things easier than I got it, and doesn't make them a real person, doesn't make them a real man, right? It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, like, more suffering doesn't make you a better person, it just means you'll die first. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, I really don't mind the pre-built ships. In previews they showed, like I said, they're kind of confusing. I don't know who exactly they're aimed at, but they're really not super overpowered or anything like that. It's just kind of a nice way to have a nice starter ship that's not the Sidewinder, which I think is kind of nice. You know, giving people some targeted ships so they can jump into the content that they want instead of having to deal with the Sidewinder and learning everything just right off the bat, because the game is very dense. And again, that's kind of the point of a lot of these level boosts, is just to kind of skip past 10 years of updates and having to go through a bunch of third-party websites to figure out how the game even works. So yeah, overall, I think it'll be a decent thing in the long-term health of the game. You know, plenty of other MMOs have level boosts, and most of them are much bigger than this game. So I think they'll be just fine. But they do need to figure out like who exactly they're trying to pull in with some of this stuff, and I don't know, just spend a little bit actually trying to market their game more than anything else. But yeah, you know, with all of that said, you know, it is nice at the very least. As mad as I am about the early access thing with the Python, it's nice to have an actual date, because that's really the main thing that I was staying in the bubble for, was just waiting until the new ships came out and deciding whether or not, you know, I wanted to stay in the bubble for it. But now that there's a date, I'm like, I really don't have any particular reason to stay in the bubble. So now that I've got a nice old FC, I can go ahead and start loading up with Tritium and going out into the black for a couple of months, right? I think they announced that the next ship after the Python is a Type 8. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't have any of the type ships. They're weird chunks of metal. And you know me, it's all about the glam, man. It's all about the aesthetics. If a ship looks weird, I'm less likely to buy it. So, you know, if the Type 8 looks like the Type 7 and Type 10, like, that's a pass. Like, Could be the best ship in the world. I'm still not buying it. Because it looks weird. But the Python Mark II I did really want because it is a pretty sleek looking ship. But yeah, if I can't get it until August, it's fine. I can go out into the black. The only thing holding me back right now is, man, I really want those Titan ship kits. I really do, and I'm having some fun with the Titan stuff. I like doing my evac runs and helping out for the cause, and yeah. So we'll see. I haven't completely decided yet. The thing is, like, this is the other thing that kind of pisses me off about the early access. Is it's like, who do they think they're fooling with? That, like, you're giving us 3-month early access, and you want us to pay real dollars on top of having Odyssey for it, right? But, like, do you really think I'm gonna get all of my 3 months out of that? But, like, I'm not gonna be playing this game for at least half of that time, right? So, like, they want me to pay for 3 months early access on this thing, but I'm effectively only getting that first month out of it. I mean, let's be real here. Dawn Trail comes out on June 28th for early access. The Elden Ring DLC comes out a week before that. Do they really think I'm going to be playing Elite Dangerous over Elden Ring? Really? Really? Who do they think they're fooling with this? So yeah, there's that. There's that to kind of keep in mind, which, you know, I guess TLDR for the channel, will probably be playing the Elden Ring DLC when that comes out here. I've got to manage some funds, do some bank shuffling to get it figured out, but yeah, the Elden Ring DLC is probably going to be something we'll be doing on this channel when it comes out, along with half of the planet for whatever it's worth. And then obviously Dawn Trail is going to be, I mean, Dawn Trail, we'll be playing that for probably at least 3 solid months before I start switching back to other games. But yeah, you know, I'm not buying an early access that I'm not even going to be getting a whole lot out of with all of the other games coming out. So yeah, there's that too. But you know, it's whatever. If people want to pay for it, it's fine. The ship builds, again, I don't mind it. I'm legitimately kind of surprised that it took them this long to do it, because with FDev being in the financial position that it is, it feels like they're really having trouble catching up to the rest of the industry at this point. You know, I was seeing some people in the old Squadron Discord that were like, well, they're just, you know, the problem is that they're, you know, you can't compare this to other MMOs because they'll take these ideas from other MMOs that were doing 20 years ago that were bad ideas. And it's like, this isn't an idea from 20 years ago. Level boosts are in most of these games right now, and they were put in for a reason. And it turned out to be one that a lot of people actually like, right? So I'm really surprised it took them this long to try and monetize their ARC store a little bit more. You know, we'll have to see if they end up raising the price of the ARCs. That's something they also mentioned, is they're going to be doing an update to the shop UI and UX and all of that. So I don't know how that's going to go. Right now, like, it's kind of surprising that ARCs is as cheap as it is, because it is probably one of the cheapest in-game currencies out there right now. Like, it's like $3 and you can buy a couple skins. So yeah, I'm really surprised that it took them this long to learn how to monetize their shop. But you know, if it helps them financially and it means they can put more investment into the game, we'll see if that ends up being the case. You know, with a company that's almost in debt, you know, a lot of times that ends up going to the debt. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to still enjoy the game while I can, because it is still a very fun space sim. But you know, there's still a lot of factors we don't know. And, you know, it could end up, they end up overly monetizing it and being super aggressive with it in the end. And we'll see how it goes. But it could end up being, you know, where it's not too bad and it's mostly optional stuff. You know, the FF14's cash shop's kind of like that. Like, FF14, really the only people that I see complaining about the cash shop in FF14 are people that are just straight up against cash shops in general. Like, if you're fine with cash shops, it seems like FF14's is probably one of the most reasonable ones out there, because it's all optional stuff. You don't really get a whole lot of in-game boosts other than the level boosts or the story boosts, right? It's almost all cosmetics, and I feel like that's pretty reasonable. But yeah, you know, you're always going to have people complaining about cash shops in games just as a concept. And it's like, you know, I would also love to return to the days of yore, where you bought a game and you got a game, and that was the end of it. Like, that was the end of the transaction, right? But the reality is, cash shops aren't going away. Like, people can complain as much as they want and be as super mad and hurt about it as they can, and be super vocal. But the reality of it is that cash shops are not going away. Like, just full stop. That's the era we live in. That's the era you've got to get used to. Adapt or die. Like, that's pretty much what it comes down to. And you know, I think there's definitely something to be said for making your voice heard when shops are super aggressive. God knows I've done that on some of the Battle Pass stuff before. I'm as I said, I'm still mad about Gundam Evo. Overwatch 2 finally learned their lesson when it comes to the new characters. It's a matter of finding that line, and I think it's going to be very, you know, kind of individual on what you personally think is over the line. You know, so I think there's definitely room to be heard. I think, you know, things like loot boxes. God, I'm glad the loot boxes are not as big of a thing as they used to be. But yeah, stuff like the gambling mechanic kind of stuff. Like, yeah, like that really doesn't have a place in video games these days. Like, it's just way too predatory. Preying on kids to bring out their parents' wallets for possible loot box gotcha stuff, right? So you know, there's going to be an era over the next decade or so where we try and figure out, you know, where that line is drawn, and you know, I think it is important to vote with your wallet on this stuff. But I think cash ops just as a concept, like, if you're still mad about that in the year 2024, like, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to die mad about it. Like, they're not going away. So it's gonna be a matter of trying to figure out how to navigate this new field. And you know, I think some of it's going to have to be regulation of the industry. And, you know, with the big news today about TikTok, you know, I think there needs to be a discussion at some point about data privacy laws, and, you know, some of these video game mechanics on cash shops. You know, I think there's going to have to be discussions on where some of that line is drawn. But yeah, I don't think cash shops just as a concept are going away anytime soon. We're way past the brink on that. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. At the end of the day, like, it's not anything in this game that I will probably take part of. There was really nothing about the pre-built ships that I couldn't just do myself. If they were like selling fully engineered rigs, maybe I would pay to skip some of that stuff, but honestly, like, I'm doing all right. I feel like I don't necessarily need to. It's just I want to be lazy about certain things, right? Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. But again, there really wasn't anything on there that I felt was worth buying for me personally. But yeah, if it brings new players into the game and lets them start in something that they would have fun with in a certain area of the game without having to deal with the Sidewinder or anything, then yeah, by all means, have some fun with it. I think they did confirm that any ships that you pay for are basically treated as a new Sidewinder. So if you do end up having to hit that rebuy screen, then you don't have to pay anything for the rebuy. You've already paid real money for it. Now, if you put any extra modules on it, like you change out some of the modules, then yeah, you have to rebuy those modules. But they essentially set all of the real money stuff that comes with the ship as a loaned item. So that becomes your new starter ship, which I think is a good thing. And we'll see if it brings new players in or not. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I just find the concept of being mad about other players doing things faster than you did just kind of ludicrous. Because there will always be someone that did the things faster than you did. Like, speed running is a thing. There's entire competitions and cash prizes for speed running certain games these days. There will always be someone faster and better than you are. Like, I have to wonder, like, these people that are mad that other people are doing things faster or get to skip the grind, like, are they mad that I got a fleet carrier in 1 month of playtime? Right? Like, I don't have Odyssey. I didn't do ExoBio with it. I just played the game, right? So are they mad that I got it? Like, how long did it take them to do their fleet carrier? Right? Like, I don't hear them saying anything about that, right? Like, what is my play? Actually, wait. Yeah, I better check. Cool. Like, what is my playtime, right? Well, we'll check once I hit the auto dock. It's kind of scary doing it before that. Yeah, I think I'm at like 1 month and maybe 2 or 3 days of playtime. I did spend a fair amount trying to do a Robigo run, so we'll see how much playtime that added to it. But yeah, it was basically 1 month and like 6 hours. I had a fleet carrier bought. Right? But again, I don't hear anyone complaining about that. It just feels like the same kind of situation that I hear with FF14, being a red mage that I am, right? That you have to play the game a certain way, and if you're not playing it that way, then you're doing it wrong. And as we have shown on this channel and through the various guides and stuff that I have done over the years, most of the time those people end up performing far worse than I do on this channel, just pressing my buttons, right? That just ends up being the situation. Yeah, it's the old spreadsheet toucher effect that I've talked about many times. But yeah, let's take a look. What is my playtime at? Commander. 4 weeks and 2 days. There we go. And as I said, I've had the fleet carrier for a little bit. Couple days now. I like it. It's fun. It's nice. And I'm really hoping this hits Allied. We'll see if it does or not. But yeah, you know, that was pretty much the news. You know, that's about as controversial as we will get on this channel. So if you're looking for like the old hot takes, there you go. Can I become a big YouTuber now? Are we gonna do it? Am I gonna hit the 1,500 subs with these scorching hot discussions, right? I mentioned TikTok once. Oh, buddy, now I'm hitting the big time. Oh, well, you know. Eventually, I was going to get mad about something enough to do it. I don't know. The thing is, I'm not even really mad. None of this stuff is really going to affect my playtime. I mean, ultimately in this game, I'm an explorer, so, you know, I've got my Anaconda, and everything that this affects is going to be 20,000 light years away from me here in about a week or so, right? I'll be doing the same old thing I've been doing, which is scanning planets and taking screenshots. So that's all I really need. But, you know, I don't know. If anything, I think maybe some vitriol is good. I mean, ultimately, a lot of the people that are really complaining about this stuff, they're so deep in the well in this game because they don't play any other game that no matter what, they're still going to be playing this game. It's the World of Warcraft effect. They're going to be super loud and they're going to be super mad about it, and they are still going to log in every day. So, you know, I think maybe it can be a good thing because it's bringing up those discussions. Oh my god. I'm so close. The problem is Torvald does not have a whole lot of missions that are not like commercial salvage missions. And that's where I'm kind of hitting the wall. I don't really have a whole lot of delivery missions or courier missions or anything like that. So it's, yeah, it's been a little tricky trying to find certain missions. We'll do the strategic data transfer, yeah. So yeah, you know, maybe if it builds up enough discussion, like, hey, maybe some of the older players that have been away from the game are hearing about this now, and they're like, you know, maybe that doesn't sound bad, so I'll come back and give this a shot again. You know, the more news, and especially hot take news, is not always a good thing, because it brings attention back to the game, and attention will almost always bring more players. I don't think as many people will leave this game over this stuff as the people mad about it think. If anything, I think it will bring more players in, because it is, you know, the hot topic of the day, right? So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. And it is a thing that, like, I don't know, I really like this game. And I've seen some players, you know, on Reddit and whatnot asking, like, well, you know, who is this game really for? Why is this game not doing so well? Because it's so fun. And there's a lot of history and stuff I guess you could go into with that. But from my perspective, it is a very fun game. I will say it is very dense. I could see, you know, if you're someone that's used to playing like League of Legends or, you know, Valorant or something like that, like this game is probably not for you, right? But if you're big into like these big open world games, and especially MMO type stuff, you know, I think you would probably like this. There's a lot to be enjoyed here. A ton of content, right? And yeah, it just scratches that itch of a type of game that we don't really see a whole lot of. And the weird thing is, I feel like there's this kind of pervasive sense that like people just don't like deep space sims. Well, like that's just flat out not true. Like it's just not. Like sci-fi stuff is so in right now, right? Like Three Body Problem just was the #1 show on Netflix for a couple of weeks. You know, Dune just had it just was hitting more income at the box office. And you know, I sell a ton of sci-fi stuff at the bookstore. Like sci-fi is in, so I don't think it's that. There's just it just has a very complicated history with this game, and I think most of it's just FDev doesn't advertise it more than anything else. I think that is probably the #1 reason that you don't see as many people talking about this game or playing this game as it potentially could. It's just people don't hear about it more than anything else. And then the other thing is, you know, kind of the reason we were even having this discussion earlier is I think there is a large part of the player base, and you know, I love my frogs. I love my diamond frogs. We're doing our things, and overall everyone is very nice and very giving. But I will say that they are salty vets, and they're very, very negative about the game in a lot of ways. And it's not just them. You go onto Reddit and, you know, every other vet is talking about how the game is dying and that kind of stuff. And it's just very negative. And I think a lot of it, again, comes from a lot of the players of this being of a certain generation. We'll just leave it at that. And where negative is just kind of the default. And that's not fun to come into as a new player. Like, again, I'm still fairly new to this game, and I will say that like it can be frustrating that you want to talk about how much fun you're having with this aspect of the game, or that you don't think this aspect of the game is as bad as everyone seems to be making it out to be, right? And then immediately everyone starts dogging on you, right? Like they immediately start telling you how wrong you are, or how you should not be having fun, or how bad FDev is. And like that's not what is going to draw people to your game, right? Like, I really enjoy this game, and I really don't think a lot of these things people complain about are really all that bad. And I really think there's a lot to be enjoyed, right? And yeah, just having people tell you, well, that's wrong, you should not be having fun with this game. Like, it just, what do you want from me, man? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna apologize for enjoying the content of the game, right? Like, I'm sorry I'm having fun with something that makes you mad. Like, if it makes you that mad, again, go play something else. It's just so weird. I don't know. It's a very weird situation. And like, it's very different than World of Warcraft situation, because we had that situation in WoW for a while, right? And you know, a lot of WoW players were very negative on it, and I'm still very negative on it. And it's like they still play the game. They're addicted to the game. You can't draw them away from WoW. But like, on a certain scale, like, they're also kind of right, because WoW was like really not a good game. You know, modern WoW is making a lot of really bad decisions. And whether or not the next expansion and the Microsoft changeover fixes some of that stuff, you know, that remains to be seen. You know, people like Dragonflight, so I guess that's a good thing. You know, for a while there, like, it just genuinely was not a good game. So like, the people being mad about it and being negative on it, like, they also kind of had a point. But did I fail it? Took too long to auto dock. Oh no. But like, this game, I feel like, is not necessarily the case. Like, people are negative on it because it's not the game that they want it to be, or what they had their expectations for, or something. But I genuinely am having a lot of fun with it, and don't think it's a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I think a lot of the problems that this game has is not necessarily FDev being incompetent, which, I mean, they are in certain aspects. Like I said, with a lot of their communication and not knowing how to market. Like, you want to bring someone over from the States to be your marketing team, because apparently you don't have a marketing team. I will gladly do it if you can pay me $70,000 a year, by all means. I'm happy to. But most of the other situations, I think, is just FDev not having the personnel or the funds to do a lot of the things that they want to do. And like, I say things like that in my Discord, and like, immediately people jump in to tell me the horror stories of things FDev has done in the past. And yeah, they're kind of silly and kind of dumb. But like, none of it was really stuff that sounded like a spiteful company by any stretch. Kind of, you know, kind of the weird stuff that happens with any MMO dev. Like, every MMO has a story with their devs being kind of weird about certain things like that. But overall, like, I think it's just FDev just doesn't really have enough to do the things that people want them to do right now, and they're kind of in a precarious situation. And you know, whether or not the game exists in 5 years, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I think the best case scenario would be they sell the Elite IP to a dev that can actually put some effort into it. But right now, you know, they're just kind of struggling, and they're doing the best that they can with the team that they've got. Is my perspective on it. This isn't WildStar. If you want some spiteful devs, like, by all means, I've got some games I can point you to. But yeah, you know, that doesn't mean it doesn't have its struggles and that everything's perfect. But overall, I'm still having a lot of fun with it. Now, I don't want to do brain tree farming ever again, but I'm still living my space trucker dreams that I bought the game for. There's still, I don't think, any better game out there to actually feel like you're doing space stuff. You want to be a hauler loading up a bunch of stuff onto your cutter and trade goods across the galaxy, or you just want to go out and see the stars, by all means. That doesn't mean there's things they can't improve. I'm still mad about black holes not interacting with other objects as much as they could. But yeah, I mean, this is the game that I've been looking for since Freelancer back in the day. Back in 2003, 2002, whenever I was playing it. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just doing what I can with my scorching hot takes, right? To try and inject some positivity into the game and you know, let people that maybe kind of interested in the game, right? Let them know that like things are not as bad as Reddit is making it out to be. Like, don't listen to the salty vets. Don't listen to the people that are just constantly being negative about the game, right? They're just being mad under the guise of trying to improve the game. Like, no, dude, it's like they're trying to improve the game, and even if they were doing something a little more tangible, I think you would still find things to complain about. Like, that's the kind of people we're dealing with, right? So I'm trying to do my best to, like, I don't know, just try and show some positivity through the power of complaining about other players, I guess. But yeah, I think there's still a lot to be enjoyed with the game, and hopefully, you know, people are pissed off right now for no reason. Exactly, that's kind of what I feel like. It's just people that are mad that this game is not what they want it to be, and I don't know. It just genuinely, as someone that plays a lot of video games and has done a lot in different MMO communities and has seen this kind of community in a lot of different spaces, it very much feels like a group of people that have not played a whole lot of other games. Like, that genuinely is what it feels like. But to me, it's like, it really doesn't feel all that bad. So you know what? Like, if me ranting about this stuff is letting people that might be interested in the game know that it's not all that bad and brings them to the game, then hopefully that'll be the case. Like, that's ultimately what it comes down to. I'd rather inject some positivity about the good things that I am enjoying about this game that might make other people interested than just constantly complain on Reddit because they added a level skip. Well, this game's equivalent of a level skip, I guess, to the game, right? Like, oh no, someone doesn't have to spend 200 hours grinding engineering. Oh boy. Which is a weird part, because they still have to unlock engineering. If they want to do this for any other ship, they still have to do the grind. Like, it's not like they're completely skipping the grind. It's just, I don't know what the people are complaining about. I really don't. Like, they get that one ship that is very specialized, that has like one module that has grade 5 engineering. Like, if they want to do it for any other ship, they still have to do the engineering. I don't know. The complaints just sound so weird. It really do. The more I think about it and the more I rant about it, the more that I think about some things being even more ridiculous than I had originally thought. Oh, buddy. But, you know, it's content. I had something that filled up a full hour of the stream to talk about. And somehow I still didn't get allied. I don't know. I really wish that I had more quests to choose from. If I wanted to do the commercial salvage, it probably would have been a little bit faster, but I've only done a couple of commercial salvage missions. I don't even know if my cutter's really set up for it. They weren't hard last time I did them. It's just, again, I'm being very lazy about it. And if I have to open up my cargo hatch to get some stuff, you've already taken me a bridge too far. I don't even want to have to open up my nav panel to try and go someplace. Any other time it's really not too bad, but right now it's just, I'm in one of those moods where I just kind of want to haul stuff around. I mean, I'm in that old space trucking mood. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like, I really don't mind the grind at all, and to be honest, it's really not even that bad of a grind. I don't know what kind of things people consider a grind in other games. So, like, I don't know. This is nothing compared to Warcraft. I'd help you if you want to start playing BDO or Lost Ark or something. Basic medicines that doesn't seem too bad. How far away is it to it's a regular port. Here we go again. Industry needs non-lethal weapons. Okay. Regular starport. Let's see, where's my closest non-lethal? And I can do it in one haul too. That's nice. Okay, so I can do it in 3885. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this from a suitable market. All right. Love it when I can do it in one haul. Here we go. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, I don't know. I've just been in a space trucking mood. I think it's maybe it's still a holdover from doing all of those Robigo runs. I didn't quite get what I wanted out of it. I was looking at all of the old threads that were like, oh yeah, you're getting, 100 million an hour and stuff, and it turned out to not be the case. And I was really sad that they nerfed it. And apparently it's not something they even apparently meant to nerf. It was just kind of a consequence of some of the passenger mission changes. But yeah, I wanted something that was going to pay out like my Thargoid evac runs, but without me having to use my heatsink. I wanted to be very lazy about it. Like, I've already proven it. I've got my fleet carrier. I've shown I can do the grind. I just wanted to sit back and watch Ancient Magus' Bride on my Sega monitor without thinking it, because I can't really do that with the Thargoid evac runs. So yeah, we all get in those moods sometimes, right? Wanna chill. So Monkey Man is gonna be on streaming soon, and that's gonna be another really good case of me just wanting to hang back and watch something. So yeah. How do you feel about the PowerPoint 2.0 update after the stream today? I have not caught up completely about it, but I was seeing a little bit on Discord, and honestly, it sounds really rad. Like, just the fact that you don't lose status. Like, they're getting rid of the weekly demotions. Like, that alone, I think, is going to save a lot of it. But like I said, I have not had a chance to go through and watch all of the stream. I saw that they were doing some UX changes with it, which looked really good. And I've been holding off on doing my power play stuff. I still need prismatic shields, and I can do it right now if I wanted to, but I wanted to wait and see what the power play updates are going to look like. And I think I am going to hold off on it now that I know that you don't lose status. Like, that sounds really good. I don't know if they mentioned, since it sounds like maybe you watched it, if they mentioned like they're adding maybe some new mission types or something. Like, that's really what I think would really help out a lot. If they added some new mission types, like missions you can get from a starport, I think would be really nice. Because right now it's like it's all through this whole UI, and you have to go through your power contact. Like in my case, like I'm pledged to Ashling, right? The only thing I can really do is just like load up this cutter with like Ashling foot picks and like haul them somewhere else, and that's really about it. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some mission types that actually affect power play. I did like that they said that it will not be locked to open only, like you'll be able to do it in solo. Just because I don't know. Maybe it's because I do a lot of BGS stuff with a very divisive squadron. I don't want to have to deal with PvP. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of people coming after us anyways. Mission types with different rewards and different consequences. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds nice, and I'm sure that ties into the whole thing that they were mentioning with the last stream, with like the new capital ships being added and stuff. So that sounds really nice. Yeah, that's how you got the prismatic, and that's how I was planning on getting it. But now that I know you don't lose your status, like, yeah, I'll just hold off on it. And to be honest, like, if I remember, like, prismatics aren't cheap. Like, they're kind of expensive, right? I've only got 1.5 in the bank, and I'm gonna have to use a lot of that to load up the FC with tritium. So, I'm in no rush. I don't even know if prismatics would be better for what I'm doing than bi-weaves anyways, so I'll just kind of stick with it. But I kind of want them, just to have them, just in case, right? But yeah, I don't know how soon the update is coming. I mean, the Python's not even coming until August. I imagine, well, technically 2 weeks from now, but for all of us non-paying plebs, it'll be in August. I imagine, since they've been hyping up the Python as being a story-related thing, I would have to imagine the Power Play update would be coming out around then, because then they still have the other 3 ships to release too, right? But yeah, I'm excited for what I did here with it. I haven't done a ton of stuff with Power Play. Being a Diamond Frog, I'm very much more background simulation kind of stuff, and I don't think a whole lot of the Power Play affects us all that much, other than, I don't know, maybe a couple things involving the system states, maybe. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I was asking the squadron like if it was even worth it, and they're like, nah, for what we do and a lot of the bounty hunting stuff and, you know, conflict zone stuff that I do on most of my ships, Byweaves is probably better. But, you know, it's nice to have the option. Like I want a nice spread of different size prismatics just in case. And I don't know what the future ships will have, and you know, maybe I'll want to try something new at some point. So it'd be nice to just go ahead and get them in the bank, right? Like I don't really have a whole lot of stuff stored, so I've got plenty of stuff in the bank, plenty of room in the bank to just kind of store those things for later, right? Python was some kind of special feature. They have not disclosed that. They only announced like the early access thing, which again I think is really with the whole update that they said, the early access stuff is the only thing that seems kind of scummy to me. Like 3 months of it especially, just kind of weird. But everything else about it seems fine. But aside from the date, I don't think they disclosed what the new thing is going to be. I expect we'll probably get that a little bit closer to the Power Play 2 update. I don't know. Well, it can't be close, because if they're going to release it in early access in 2 weeks, then like people are going to find out what it is. Yeah, it is. Now that you mention it, it is kind of odd that they didn't say what the new thing is going to be. But, you know, that also could be a thing where next week, you know, the early access starts on May 7th if you're going to pay the money for it. I don't recommend it, but, you know, if you're really excited about it, I guess it can. I imagine, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, next week we might have a community goal that leads up to it. Yeah, I have to imagine we'll have some kind of community goal that's tied to it. You know, some kind of new research project or something like that. It wouldn't surprise me. And it seems like they've been doing a community goal about once a month, right? Like I haven't played this game that long. Like I've only played since December, whenever it went on Steam sale. But it seems like about once a month, right? So yeah, we're kind of about due. We just did the one for the free ship kit. I don't know if you really want to consider that like an actual community goal, where we had to get the little Thargoid drives. So yeah, which it could be a pretty fun one too. We need like another actual community goal with some actual rewards. Ship kit was nice, but we didn't get anything else from it. I did the one with, the one before that. That was kind of nice. Turning in the bounties. I am curious what the new special feature is going to be. You know, if they are going to do early access on it, then yeah, that is kind of getting into play to win territory if the new feature is incredibly overpowered. But I don't know. I feel like it's if they want it to be competitive with the Fer-de-Lance and stuff. Now you don't want to make it super overpowered compared to the FDL. Okay, how many do I need? 441. Okay, there we go. Cool. Yeah, you know, we'll see. I am gonna buy one. You know, it's gonna depend a lot. It just looks so nice. It's such a nice looking ship. But like, as someone who's primarily an explorer, I'm just really curious, like, what the actual jump range and stuff is going to be on it once it's actually kitted out for engineering. Like, did they accidentally make another Anaconda with a super lightweight hull? I don't know. Or is it going to be like an FDL where even if it's kitted for exploration, it's still kind of low? But I really like the look of it. I really like the look of it, and I want to take that out. It was the only reason I've been in the bubble, is waiting for that thing and seeing what kind of jump range it's going to get. But I guess if they are going to make it Odyssey only, it gives me an excuse to get Odyssey. And I'm not super excited about doing ExoBio. I feel like ExoBio is going to slow me down more than anything, but you know, it'll be something that I can do while I'm out there. Another kind of extra thing to make some money now that I've got the FC. So we'll see how it goes. They did, I think, tease at the end of the stream that the Type 8 is going to be the next one. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, that wasn't a joke. Like, if the Type 8 is going to be the next ship, like, that's going to be a pass for me. I just really hate the look of the type ships. They're just big, chunky boys, which is really not my kind of thing. I like the big, sleek ships. I really wanted another Gudamaya ship. And who knows, maybe they'll still add one. But from what the leak said with the ship sizes, like they somehow, some way, ship sizes got leaked either from data mining or something, and it didn't seem like any of them were going to be medium-sized. I really wanted a Gudamaya medium, an Imperial medium, something that looks like a Clipper, but is a smaller pad size. Oh man, that would make my dreams come true. But a Type 8, yeah, I can skip a Type 8. If I want to haul stuff, I've got this, and then I've got my Python if I want to do mining. Thinking the special feature won't be a weapon or flight ability. Yeah, it absolutely would be. 1% chance there's an interior. God, if it's ship interiors, oh buddy, all of the heat that they've been getting the past 2 days over pre-built ships would vanish instantly over ship interiors. They FDev giveth and they taketh away, you know. I would like ship interiors. I don't know how much I would use it, but it seems like it would be kind of a neat feature as someone who's very much a space trucker, just trying to role play my way through the galaxy, right? Like, I don't know if you watched any of my old streams, but like 90% of the reason I play the game is just to find cool places and take cool screenshots. I just want to live my space trucker dreams. But now that I'm in the bubble, I'm trying to find, you know, I'm trying to do some other stuff while I'm here and enjoying it while I've got the time. Or I go back out into the black and do my first Beagle Point run. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it could be something where it ties into the new SCO drives. I could see it being something where like it uses the SCO drive, but it doesn't have the debuffs that the SCO drive gives you right now with the overheating and all of that. You know, it could be something like that. The rumors early on was that it could potentially be some kind of stealth. If it was going to be stealth, one, I don't even know how that would work. Until you actually get in combat, that seems kind of weird. How you doing, buddy? Wonder how many they sent after me this time. Let's take a look. If it's 2, I'll skip it. But if it's just the 1, then yeah, let's do it. Looks like it's just the 1. All right. Yeah, I don't even know how stealth would work, honestly. And yeah, stealth I think would be pretty pay to win. I have noticed a few ships in some of my conflict zones that I've been doing have been losing targeting for a few seconds, and I have to like retarget them. But I don't know if that's something else. It could be another thing that's already in the game, and I'd never paid attention to it. But aside from that, like, I've got no ideas. I'm completely lost on what the new thing would be. With the SEO drives just coming out and being such a big deal, I'm of the mind that it's got to be something to do with the SEO overcharge drives. But other than just making it a smoother experience, I don't really know. We'll wait and see. You know, we got 2 weeks before we'll find out, and it'll be here before we know it. This guy. Only I was in my Corvette right now, this would be so much less annoying. That's what I was forgetting. I was like, why am I running out of pulse lasers so fast? And then I forgot my pips. The one downside of doing this in a cutter. But it is nice doing this in a cutter too, because I actually don't mind getting interdicted. You know, anytime I'm in one of my other ships, one of my just like quest ships, right? Like one of my courier running mission ships or something. Something that I didn't really plan on doing missions in. You know, I always get interdicted, and then I get really annoyed that I get interdicted because I'm not in one of my other ships. This one I like getting interdicted in. This one I'm like, interdict me as much as you want, because even though this is a hauler, I'm not doing the meta where you don't have hard points. This thing's loaded out, and I love it. Right, there we go. But this should do it. This should be enough to get me to Allied, and then I don't know if I have to do a quest to get my permit unlocked, but we'll see. I got really mad yesterday when I saw that trade route go up on Inara, and then found out it was permit locked. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Just get it out of the way. I think I still need to do the Party of Yoru. One of the engineers need that. Can't remember if it's Party of Yoru or the Blue Gang, whatever that was. I'm feeling good about most of my engineers at this point. I can't think of a whole lot that I need engineered here in the bubble. Everything else that I'm kind of looking at, I've got to go all the way to Colonia for. Like, the only other thing that I really want is lightweight life support for my Anaconda. And outside of that, I think I'm pretty good. My Anaconda should have over 80 jump range once I get that thing engineered. So yeah. You know, while I'm here in the bubble, I might collect a couple more ships. Now that I've got a fleet carrier, it's going to be real nice just hauling everything with me out there. And then, yeah, you know, right now the Yosemite is set up just for the squadron while we finish up some froggy ops. And then once I move out into the black, it'll be available for everyone to use. It might actually stay. I think the first place I'm going to end up hitting up is Riker's Hope, and it might stay out there for a while. I'm not going to officially join the DSSA or anything like that, but I want it available for other people to watch the streams. And, you know, we do a lot of different games on the channel, so there's going to be long portions, especially when Dawn Trail comes out, where I'm not playing the game. So I want you guys to be able to use the fleet carrier, and it should stay pretty well stocked. You know, there's a couple things. I don't know if I'm going to keep the outfitting on it. Like, I can't really imagine what I would need outfitting for while we're out there. But, you know, things like universal cartographics, refuel, rearm, repair, that is going to be available. I'm going to keep that. As it stands, the ship has got enough in its reserves for 11 and a half months, so almost a full year. And then by the time I actually make it out of the bubble and actually start this big journey, I'm aiming for 3 years of reserves, which, depending on if I can just talk to the squadron, I could probably do that this afternoon if we really wanted to. But you know, I don't mind waffling about here in the bubble for a little bit longer. But yeah, you know, we'll have it up, and I'll keep that information in the streams. I'll make sure that it's posted on all the social medias and all that, so you guys can use that if you want to come out and visit. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. That's what the life of an explorer is. I want to make sure that it's a good resource, and you know, I want to try getting other people interested in exploration. I want people to get into the game, and I feel like the fact that it is a whole galaxy to explore, and yeah, a lot of it is kind of same-ish, but you know, you're always searching for that one system, and with only 0.05% having been explored in this game, like, you're gonna find that one system that just blows you away, and it's gonna make it all worth it. So, you know, for my fellow explorers out there, we'll have a fleet carrier ready to go for you. Rep. Am I allied? Did we finally do it? Yay, 5-star missions, finally, hooray. This one was kind of rough. I really did not think it was going to be that hard, but yeah, it just came down to like finding the missions more than anything else. Now the other thing is, I think I might have to like go to their main hub. Might have to go to like their main system. I don't know if the permit unlocks automatically, but you know, I think that'll be fine for now. I can do that. I can do that on my own. At some point, I need to go and get some food before everything around here closes. All right. So where was I at? Can I make it back to my FC without my fuel scoop on? That's another question. Okay, it'll be tight, but I think I should do it. I should be able to do it. Yay. The thing is, like, I got this fleet carrier and I can technically move it around for all of this stuff that I'm doing right now, but I got such a good parking spot in the system that my squadron is on right now that I didn't want to leave my parking spot. Like I've had so many cases where all of my buddies' fleet carriers are like parked behind a planet or like between two moons. And then I've got one that's like facing your jumping point, you know, facing the sun that you jump in at. So you don't have to move around the planet or anything. And it's an Earth-like world. And it's like right there on the border between daytime and nighttime. So it's perfect for screenshots. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to move my fleet carrier now. I don't want to ruin the view. They don't tell you that these are problems when you buy one, but that's really what it all comes down to is what kind of screenshots you're going to be able to get out of it, right? All right, so now that that's out of the way, and we don't have to worry about anyone interdicting us again. There we go. Let's get my scanner up because I've got a lot of stuff that I can turn in once we get there. The only problem is it is 18,000 light seconds away once we get in there, so it'll be a few minutes before we make the journey, right? But yeah, overall, you know, some exciting stuff happening for the game. Some things we're still a little unsure about. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, the things that I don't mind, it could be a situation where FDev just completely just doesn't know what they're doing with it. It ends up, you know, really screwing it up in some way, but I don't know. Most of it doesn't seem too bad. The power play updates, but yeah, now that they've also given us some more details about that, I think that looks really cool. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm excited for new mission, new missions and other stuff to play around with. New different rewards and different consequences. Yeah, I'm curious about what the different rewards are going to be too. Like I noticed that a couple of different powers give you like bonuses to purchases and stuff within those systems, or you get bonus bounties, you know, fighting for them or something like that once you reach max merits or something along those lines. That was pretty nice. Yeah, we'll just have to see what the new stuff is. Yeah, different rewards and not losing merits every week is gonna be really, really nice. I cannot lie, I'm pretty excited about that now. And you know, by the time it comes out, I guess I'll have Odyssey by then. Despite my best efforts, we'll probably have it. I don't know. Well, I might wait until the Python is officially out to buy it. And just for the sole purpose that I've got a lot that I'm saving up for right now. I mean, the Elden Ring DLC, I think, is what, 30 or 40, and then Dawn Trail is going to be 60 for the digital collector's edition. On top of other things that I've got, because I also just bought soccer tickets, so, you know, that was my, well, part of my tax refund. But my buddy was like, hey, man, we're doing this. I was like, all right, man, I'm only going to be able to go to one game this year, so we're gonna do it. I gotta have my bro night out with him, so that's what we're gonna do. Me and him and his wife, we're gonna go to our soccer game for the year. Going to pay out more engineerings and once get max merits, fill up separate bar. Yeah, I saw the care package thing. I'm pretty excited about that, and I am excited about the engineering updates. I'm curious about like the specifics of it. I don't know if you were here on the stream when I mentioned that I finally went out and did my first ever Braintree farm run and Crystal Spire run out in the middle of nowhere. And God, that sucked. I really hate raw material farming. The other two materials I genuinely don't have too many issues with. And it's probably because I'm the weird guy that does passenger missions, but you know, I really don't mind encoded and manufactured, but raw materials, there's just no fun way to do them. I wouldn't mind raw materials as much if the grade 4 and grade 5 mats were available from just regular mining, but no, it seems like the only real way to do grade 5 farming is to do the whole Braintree farming run. It's like just put them in mining, right? Now maybe you can get them from like deep core mining or something like that. To be fair, most of the mining that I do is just regular old, you know, laser farming. I slow boat it. And it's largely because my home system has like 5 gas giants that are all rings, so it's just a great laser mining system, I guess. But yeah, I am curious what the changes are going to look like, at least for the specifics. So yeah, but you know, we still have some time. You know, Python will be out here in a couple weeks, but most of this other stuff I'm not imagining is going to be implemented anytime soon. Not until August at the earliest. I think overall, you know, despite all of the people complaining about pre-built ships and stuff on Reddit, I mean, it seems like they're doing a lot of stuff in the game in a very short amount of time. And like, I don't know how you can look at that. Whether you like the changes or not, they are very clearly giving some attention to this game. When, from what I understand, they have not really done that in the past 6 years or so. So, yeah, like, I think it's a good time to be in the game. I don't know what even really changed it either. Maybe they just had a lot of people that bought it the last Steam sale. I mean, that's when I bought it, and apparently a lot of other people did too, but I don't know. I don't have an insight to their financials, but it seems like word started getting out again about it again. Last Steam sale just seemed like it was a really good time. So yeah, there's that. I think it's also a situation that like No Man's Sky is doing really well right now, and their last update was really good. And like when people like games in this kind of genre, there just really are not a lot of space sims, right? Like you got this, you got Star Citizen. Some people don't consider No Man's Sky a space sim, and you know, I think it's kind of borderline, but I can see the argument that it's not, but it's still probably one of the more popular space games. But like I was saying earlier, like sci-fi is in right now. People like sci-fi. So if like No Man's Sky is doing really well, people start asking questions about what other space games are out there. And you know, this one starts entering the discussion again. So yeah, you know, hopefully more people are checking it out, and you know, and it brings some more people to the game, and hopefully I can do my part about telling new players not to listen to Reddit about some of this stuff, and keep at it and keep having fun. And yeah, you know, I think attention is good overall, and it seems like for all the struggles that FDev is having, it seems like they are interested in giving this game a little bit of love. You know, from what little I understand from their investment calls and stuff, it is still like one of their highest earning games. You know, their biggest selling game, I think, was Zoo Planet. But in terms of like just overall income and people engaging with the game, this is still pretty much their main title for that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that, you know, given their struggles, that they would kind of turn their attention to the game that's actually paying them, right? But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes in terms of specifics. You know, I've certainly heard my share of horror stories about FDev in terms of how well they actually run the games, but I'm excited overall. And there's still a lot of stuff that I've got to do. I've still got to find that perfect system. I'm still on the hunt for my collection of wonders, so we've got plenty of time. And if not, then you know what? I've got plenty of other games to play being a VTuber, so yeah. It's not like we lack a backlog on this channel. God knows how long it's going to take us to finish this whole Final Fantasy project. Sometimes I'll just be sitting here thinking about what I want to stream. And like the fact that we're only on FF8 right now kind of hits me. I'm like, oh god, we're only on FF8. We've been doing this for like 2 years. We've been doing this since I was a flesh tuber. Oh god. How long is it going to take me? And is 16 going to be out on PC in time? Which, speaking of, you know, the switch to VTubing, you know, I got the renders for my official OC model, the official colored renders. They're almost done with it. I have not got the actual PSD finals yet. They are working on a couple of clothing accessories that are going to go with the model. But yeah, as I mentioned, I will have my original model, and we're going to schedule the debut and all of that once I get it rigged. And yeah, I will no longer be the free booth guy, free model on booth guy, right? But yeah, she showed me the first renders, the completed West 2.0. And I gotta tell you guys, it looks absolutely fantastic. And I know everyone says that about their new models. Like, everyone tells you how great their model looks and how happy they are with their artists and stuff. But like, I'm serious, guys. This person is way undercharging for the quality of this work, and I really hope everyone here, once we get this thing scheduled here in like 3 months, because it'll probably be about 3 months before we actually do my official debut, right? I really hope that once we do this debut, that people start giving her some attention, and I really honestly legitimately hope she raises her prices, because she is way undercharging for this work. Like, it is absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to show you my new model. It's gonna probably be an absolute pain to rig. She added a lot of bells and whistles for free. Like, they were not part of my original design. She's just like, I think this would look neat. Like, this character's like right up my alley, so I had some ideas too. And I'm like, okay, like, I literally Google image searched some stuff and like pasted it all together. That was your reference sheet, so go ham, like, have some fun with it. And yeah, just way above and beyond my expectations, now that I've actually seen it colored and shaded and rendered. So yeah, I hope the coat will be done sometime this weekend. The final coating and the final bits of coloring and clothing and stuff that she's got to get done, but it's pretty much ready to go. I just got to send her the second half of the payment. But yeah, I really hope people give her attention, and I really hope that she doesn't get overwhelmed with it. I genuinely think that she should probably be charging in the order of several $100s more than what she is charging right now. But obviously we'll have all of that info, my mama's name and all of that, socials, and we'll be doing the whole debut with the slides and all of that when it's ready, and you'll be introduced to the artist and all of the hard work that went into it when it comes time. But yeah, you guys, I was showing my best friend this because I know he watches the stream sometimes, which I'm super happy for him, you know, because he just got a new job that's going to pay him super well. And yeah, I really can't wait for the soccer match so we can catch up and he can tell me about his adventures in Red Dead Redemption 2. And yeah, I was showing people from work that have been watching the stream sometime, and every now and then. And yeah, they were super excited about it, and genuinely couldn't believe the quality on it. Yeah, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna look fantastic. I just hope that my rigging and the experience that I get from that is gonna live up to it as well. But overall, I think it's gonna be. I'm hyped. I think you guys are really gonna like it. But there you have it. So I think that's gonna be just about it for today. But let's get a nice little view here. So welcome to the CGFC Yosemite, my fleet carrier that I bought at 1 month playtime on the dot. Which might be a speed record, might not be, I don't know, but I'm pretty proud of that. Now I just got to get that triple elite right. I gotta get some of these bounties turned in and some of this combat stuff done. I feel like the easiest way to get the elite combat is probably Thargoids, but I don't know. I like a lot of the stuff surrounding the Thargoid war, but I don't feel like I would actually like fighting the Thargoids themselves. I just feel like they would take too long. Every time I watch streamers doing that, it just feels like the fight drags on forever. All right, where's my namesake? There we go. There we go. The Yosemite is called into duty. I'm loving it. I'm digging it. I love this thing so much. And look at that view. See why I don't want to leave my parking spot. Isn't this just a fantastic view? In fact, I'm gonna take another screen of it. I've taken like 50 screens of this thing. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. We will be back to the normal schedule tomorrow. It'll be longer streams then. Probably FFA, because we are falling way behind my time frame for getting that done, as much as I even had a time frame for it. And then probably more Horizon Zero Dawn on Friday, and maybe some more of this sprinkled in between. The nice thing is, like, the next couple of weeks I am working quite a bit in terms of like days that I'm working, but they're all like 4 and 5 hour shifts, which is really nice. So we might be able to fit some streams of this and some other games like Monster Hunter World in, sprinkled throughout there. We'll just kind of play it by ear, see how it goes. But yeah, help me get to that 1,500 subs. If you like the content today, if you liked hearing me rant about MMO communities for an hour, like and subscribe, help me get up to 1,500. Check out some of the other content on my channel. Share if you like my stuff and want your buddies to come in and check it out too. With that being said, as you can hear, my voice is going out, and I just want to go and eat like the biggest burger that I can because I'm starving. So thank you very much, and y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye bye.